Did President Biden just declare war with Russia? Well, that's what we're going to discuss today because many people are asking, with the statements that President Biden made just recently, is he telling us that the United States and Russia will be going head to head very soon? Well, we're going to get to that in today's video. I'm going to play a clip. We will watch this and then we will discuss what is happening and why all these talks of the United States and Russia going head to head are now swirling about. So make sure you stick around for this entire video, but let's begin. So if you have watched many of my videos over the past week or so, you've probably seen this video. However, we're going to play this clip from President Biden. This was actually done a couple days ago, and I want to address this because of what he is calling for. All right, so let's go ahead and listen to this. Here's the video.
Congress needs to pass supplemental funding for Ukraine before they break for the holiday resources. As simple as that. Who is prepared to walk away from holding Putin accountable for this behavior? Who among us is really prepared to do that? I tell you, I'm not prepared to walk away. And I don't think the American people are either. If Putin takes Ukraine, he won't stop there. If he keeps going and then he attacks a NATO ally, where we've committed as a NATO member that we defend every inch of NATO territory, then we'll have something that we don't seek and that we don't have today. American troops fighting Russian troops.
So that's what he's saying. That if the United States doesn't commit more funding to help Ukraine, and this is exactly what the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has been asking for as well, is additional funding. If Ukraine doesn't get additional funding, additional assistance, then Russia is going to win the war with Ukraine. That's what we're hearing. But if you remember, over a year ago, multiple experts, okay, even people from the Pentagon, they didn't say it publicly, but they gave their statements. Didn't want to be named or addressed, but they said that Ukraine was not going to win this war. It didn't matter how much the United States gave to Ukraine. They will not win this war. Russia has made it a point where they are going to take some of this Ukrainian territory. All right? So what President Biden is saying is if Russia wins this war, then they are going to be closer to these NATO countries. And if they are closer to NATO countries, there is a higher likelihood that in the future, they could go and potentially invade, attack, or there could be some kind of miscommunication, and it looks like an attack. All right? Remember when Russia first invaded Ukraine? What Russia was doing and saying were they were just trying to do some military operations, some tactical and technical training. They were doing that, but it was near the border of Ukraine. They weren't planning on invading. They were just doing some different training exercises. And that's why they needed all this equipment along the border. Then suddenly, it turned on, and Russia invaded Ukraine. So things like that could potentially happen. That's what President Biden is saying here. But at the same time, he's using that fear or that potential threat to try to get Congress to pass additional legislation and send over $100 billion to other countries, $60 billion of which would go to Ukraine. So again, that's the big question. Now, I'm going to play the rest of this clip so that you can see exactly what he's saying, but that's what we have been talking about over the past couple of days. Is there is an increased level of the increased threat to us here in the United States and abroad, simply because Russia is winning this war. All right? Let's go ahead and watch the rest of this.
Today's vote's going to be long remembered, and history's going to judge harshly those who turn their back on freedom's cause. Extreme Republicans are playing chicken with our national security, holding Ukraine's funding hostage to their extreme partisan border policies. Republicans have to decide if they want a political issue, if they want a solution at the border. And my team has been engaged in negotiations with Senate Democrats and Republicans on border security. This has to be a negotiation. Republicans think they get everything they want without any bipartisan compromise. That's not the answer. That's not the answer. And now they're willing to literally kneecap Ukraine on the battlefield and damage our national security in the process. So I'm calling on Congress to do something and do the right thing, to stand with the people of Ukraine, stand against the tyranny of Putin, stand for freedom, literally stand for freedom. Like I said, I am willing to make significant compromises on the border. We need to fix the broken border system. It is.
So he's saying he's willing to compromise on the border because here's where things are at. The border security here in the United States is being put up against funding for Ukraine. Republicans want stricter border policies. That's what they want. They want asylum limits. Okay? And with all these changes, and this is the hard part, we haven't seen a bipartisan change to any border policy for decades. And so all of a sudden we're going to think that, especially with this divided Congress that we have, we're going to go ahead and pass a bill in the Senate that's also going to pass in the House that President Biden believes in. That's highly unlikely. And so this is why some are saying that what President Biden just said is if we do not pass additional aid to Ukraine, which is tied to border security, which means if we don't pass any stricter border policies, we don't pass additional aid to Ukraine, which means we likely don't pass additional aid to Israel or humanitarian assistance to Gaza. And at the same time, it increases the chances and likelihood that the United States and Russia will go head to head eventually. That's what he's saying. So did President Biden just declare war on Russia? No. But did he tell us the risks involved in not sending additional aid to Ukraine? Yes. But at the same time, experts over the past year have told us Ukraine cannot win this war. They don't have the ability to win this war unless other countries step in and push Russia out. The United States is not going to do that. We are not going to put troops on the ground in Ukraine to fight Russian soldiers. That's not going to happen. That would only escalate things, and then it could be a world war. So, at this time, just understand, did President Biden declare war on Russia? No. Did he escalate the situation? According to experts, the answer is yes. However, over the last couple of years, most of the things that President Biden has done in regards to Russia has just escalated the situation, not made things better. So, that's where we're at this time. As always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all the latest news and updates, but that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.